Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome to the Suit Up Geek Podcast. Yeah, guys, it's a little weird. We decided to do a little collaboration, put both podcasts, the Suit Up Podcast and the Geek Fix Podcast, together because we just found a trend that we were always going on each other's shows. So at one point, we're just like, God damn, let's just make it our own show right now. So look at us right now on our own show, the Suit Up Geek Podcast. I was saying it backwards in my head. But you know what, guys? We had a very special topic for the first one. I'm not even going to ask out what it is because we can all say the title. But for the very first episode, in honor of The Mandalorian Season 2 coming out, like in a month from now, a month and a few days, we're all excited as all crap. Are we not? I mean, honestly, you guys don't even got to say it. Look at those damn hats, those damn Yoda hats. Bro, you both look pretty sexy. You look pretty sexy, but you know what? AJ's always looking good. He don't need a hat, especially with those little stereo headphones on. But yeah, guys, today we're doing a group review of The Mandalorian Season 1. But you know what? Let's spice it up a little bit, guys. Let's just go out there. You know what? I'm just going to let AJ talk first because I can't even say any of us are mega fans because we're all equal mega fans. So I'm going to go to like one of the other equal mega fans first. AJ, I know that was really confusing.
Okay. Well, you guys all know me, AJ. You can always find me at AJ Geeks Vibe Nation. Always. I'm excited to talk about The Mandalorian. I've watched it in total of like 4 times already. So I'm hyped. So I can't wait for season 2. I'm ready. I'm ready to talk season 1.
Man, dude, I did not realize you watched that shit 4 times. That's pretty insane. I need to do a full rewatch completely before season 2 comes out. Thankfully, it's not that long. So I got that in my whole little gist going on. But you know what? Deebs, I would consider Deebs the biggest fan out of all of us here. I hope everyone agrees, because if you don't, this looks really awkward on my end for saying that. I don't think less of you guys. That's all I want you to know. But Deebs, dude, just tell us your opinions on The Mandalorian.
Quick and to the point, I did episode reviews of The Mandalorian Season 1, and man, like waking up at 4 a.m. on Fridays, turning on Disney Plus, and publishing my review before heading to work was legit one of my favorite moments of 2019. So I plan to do the same here for Movies Matrix moving forward. I'm just jacked up, man. Like there's a lot of ways this season can go. But you know, first and foremost, it's the marriage of The Mandalorian and Star Wars Rebels and the Clone Wars moving forward. I am jacked up, man.
Honestly, if you guys see me acting the way I am, that's why, dude. The Mandalorian is so damn good. And honestly, I've not gotten the chance to speak about it since its release, which is insane. And if you guys are wondering why I'm standing right now, it's because I currently don't have any chairs around. But you know what? That's besides the point. How do you not have any chairs in the house? You know what? I don't know either. But you know what? Let's go to Loretto. I got to point this way. Loretto, please talk to us, sir.
What up? Representing the West Coast of our United States, I am Lo. You can find me at Marcellus Durden on Twitter. It is getting quite warm. We have an impending heat wave coming over to my state, which I'm not excited about. But what I am excited about is the most glorious Star Wars medium actively happening right now. This is the way. This is why we're here. Thank you, Dave Filoni. This guy, besides bringing us Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels, he's brought us The Mandalorian, which is easily one of the best things that happen to television. And I'm so happy to be alive in this time.
Also think Jon Favreau. He is.
I was just about to say that.
You're right, AJ. Just about to say that. Favreau helped almost to kind of mentor him a little bit with the live action. Filoni coming from the animation. You're right.
To kick things off, though, I really want to say I felt like The Mandalorian Season 1 kind of rejuvenated the entire Star Wars series in general, man. Lo and Deeb's matching, bro. They're twins. They're 2 peas in a pod. They're everything. But I feel like The Mandalorian rejuvenated the Star Wars franchise quite a bit, actually, because The Last Jedi left a weird taste in people's mouth. I'm not going to say good. I'm not going to say bad because of how diverse that film was. And leading up with The Rise of Skywalker, dude, it's just been insane. But dude, The Mandalorian is insanely great. I think we can all agree with that just based off how excited we are, which is amazing, dude. I'm super pumped to talk about this. But you know what? I want to ask you guys all a question before we get into the deep things. What is your take on having Pedro Pascal be under the mask, even though it technically wasn't him? What do you think about his whole entire character being this hidden mystery? And then do you guys think it was too early for them to reveal his face, or do you think they did it at the exact right point? I'm gonna go to Deeps because he looks fired up right now with those rosy
Not at all.
cheeks.
Absolutely not. I mean, it just added more complexity, more layers to his character and what it means for season 2, because I mean, IG-11 is not a living thing, so it doesn't really matter to begin with. But I think more so, how does IG-11's impact? You know, that was a major subplot of season 1. Mando Din Djarin's hatred towards droids. You know, this guy, IG-11's sacrifice at the end of season 1, how does that impact season 2? Do we finally see Mando bring in a crew for Razor Crest? Do we finally see him kind of be more lenient, show some more love towards the droids? That was a major moment. I don't see it really impacting really anything in terms of his mask. And but I mean, it was really a journey of, you know, self identity for Mando, and I loved every second of it.
Honestly, Deebs, I couldn't agree more. And plus, Pedro, even though he almost got killed and got blown up, he still looked fucking great while doing it at the same time, I gotta say. But Loretto, what are your opinions on season 1 of Mandalorian?
Well, in terms of what we were talking about with Pedro Pascal, I thought the reveal was appropriate. It happened in like literally the finale of the season. And also, I think us knowing who he was under the mask was it was good for the fans because we knew the gravitas of the character behind. We know he's a great actor, everything he's done before. And it was kind of exciting, like that mystery of like, oh, when's he going to take his helmet off? Is he ever going to take his helmet off? But even with the helmet on, even with just his voice, I felt like he captured the persona of Mando really well. His voice, his gravelly, like almost like understated voice really fit that Lone Ranger man with no name type of character. So I had no problem with not seeing him, and we don't really need to see him again. I thought it was fine the way they revealed his face. But if something happens and his helmet gets blown off, that'd be interesting too. But yeah, overall, I loved season 1. It was brilliant. Are we doing the grading system tonight?
Yeah, we're gonna do story. Okay. And then we're going to do visuals, and then we're going to do memorable moments, and then rewatchability, and then overall grade. And I'm gonna be keeping score. And at the end, we're gonna like share my screen. And we'll
Can you put that in the chat?
Yeah, I got it. Okay, I got you, bro.
Cool.
I got it.
All right, thanks, bro. But yeah, before we go to AJ, I don't see enough people giving credit to, I guess you can say, Pedro's body double, the one who is in the actual suit for most of the stuff, for most of the season. I felt like even though it was Pedro Pascal's voice, his emotion through the mask and just the suit in general, the way he moved, I thought not only added a lot of gravitas without the voice, but with the voices of Pedro, I think it just cinematic gold. But AJ, what do you think about the Mandalorian and him taking off his mask at the end of the season?
Yeah, I'm with everybody here. I actually love the reveal, the face-off reveal in the final season, the final episode of the first season. I guess I understand why people didn't like it. I understand why people wanted him to do it in the second season. But the way the story was going, I felt like it made perfect sense for him to reveal himself. And it's not like actual people saw his face within the show's perspective. It was a robot that was going to die regardless. So technically, no one knows what he looks like still. So he's perfectly fine there. But the one thing that I would say in season 2, I feel like that he's going to actually stray away a little bit from the Mandalorian, little by little, I feel like. And I already know people are not going to like that. But to fit right now, I think the way his progression is going, I think little by little, he is going to stray away from the Mandalorian and be his own person. So I'm excited for season 2. And the face reveal I thought was great. And then if we get especially since we're doing season 3 and season 4. It's been
Yeah.
hinted at right now. If the last episode of season 3, he just says, "I don't want to be a part of the Mandalorian anymore," I'd be like, okay, and then I wouldn't even know what's going to happen next after that. But I feel like that would be so exciting. So I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for that, but that's me.
No, honestly, AJ, I agree with you as well, man. I think the whole face reveal, I thought it was done as perfectly as it could have been. I love how I forgot who directed the season finale. I think it was Jon Favreau.
It was
But,
Taika Waititi.
Yeah.
Taika Waititi. Oh, I thought I had it mixed up because I thought Taika directed the first episode and John
That was
directed
Dave
the last.
Filoni.
Okay. So what I like with the whole face reveal at the end of towards the end of season 1 or the last episode at the end, they don't treat it as monumental as fans treat it. Like fans are like, "Oh my God, what does he look like under the mask? Is he really scarred? Is he burned up?" But when they reveal him, it's kind of just like a nuanced moment, like, "Oh wow, that's his face." You're not like, "Oh shit," type of moment. And they kind of brush over it as fast as they do because that's the Mandalorian. He doesn't want his face seen, so he's going to cover that as fast as he can once he realizes what's going on. So I thought the face scene was awesome. But let's get into some more specific details, Loretto. What do you think about the entire arc of season 1 in the story?
Wait, are we going to answer that comment? Because I was actually excited to do that.
What question?
Yeah, let's answer this quick, and then we'll go into the story and grade it out of 10.
Okay. Who was your favorite director on the season? I'll make it short. I'm just going to say Taika Waititi. That is obviously for obvious reasons. Anyway, Deebs, go.
Dave Filoni, that first episode with the Baby Yoda reveal, that was some like crazy times between The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker, that anticipation, all the mess that Star Wars was in. It was so divisive, The Last Jedi. That first episode, I think it was just called The Mandalorian, actually. Chapter 1 was just the most jaw-dropping, beautiful, visually beautiful, the cinematography, and then the action with IG-11 and Mando, and then the culmination of that. It was just that water cooler moment, that holy shit. How did they keep Baby Yoda a secret all this time through development? That was my favorite episode, and I think that was directed by Dave Filoni.
It was
Awesome. Completely agree with you, Deebs. But AJ, what is your favorite director from the season?
I'm gonna go with I can't pronounce his last name, but Rick. I can't pronounce his last name.
Famuyiwa or something like that.
Yeah.
Famuyiwa?
I think he was the one with the ragtag group, right? Where you see Digerin in the group. Yeah. So he is definitely my favorite director out of this season. Just seeing Dine just go against, you just see how true badass he is in this episode. Yep. It had that, what is it? Not Empire Strikes Back. It was a New Hope type of feel in the hallway. You had that Clone Wars type of feel with the hallway as well. Just seeing him just outsmarting every single person. I just thought that moment, that whole episode actually was badass, and I really loved that moment. So, Rick, I'm sorry, I can't say your last name. I'm going to learn it one of these days, but he is my favorite director.
That last act of that episode, or that tonal shift, where Mando just becomes the predator and just goes on the hunt and turns off all the lights.
Man, it had that aliens type of feel, that alien type of feel.
Totally.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get Dave Filoni in an X-Wing.
Yeah. But Loretto, what are your takes on your favorite director of season 1?
No, this is pretty cool. We all chose different people. I love Taika as a filmmaker, but I thought I'm actually surprised. Out of this series, I loved Deborah Chow's episode with a capital Love. Those were some of my favorite moments, especially in episode 2, The Child, when all hope seems lost. The bounty, the guild has Mando cornered, and then here come the Mandalorians descending with their jackpacks. You got the big one with like the Gatling gun, like this is the way. I was just like geeking out, like that's what you wanted to see. Like when you see like Boba Fett, when you see Jango Fett, to see the full Mandalorian force, like the numbers, that was epic. And then also Deborah Chow did The Reckoning, The Reckoning was the second to last episode where Moff Gideon makes his first appearance. Grief Karga gets attacked by that flying beast and the child heals him. That whole episode had such great tension. And one of my favorite characters actually met his demise at the end. Shouts out to Khalil, the what do you call the mechanic?
Yeah,
he had spoken, and he spoke for the last time.
I have spoken. Greatness.
He took it. He took it for the
man.
show.
So Deborah Chow, man, she was hitting at the park. Those 2 episodes were my favorite of the series. So
honestly, it's hard to disagree with anyone here, but I'm gonna come out with a little bit of a hot take. When the show first came out, I think it was episode 4 or 5. Bryce Dallas Howard directed an episode, and I saw a lot of people give her shit online for some reason. And I just want to say, every episode's fan-damn-tastic, and I really love what she did with her with the episode. And still, that episode has one of my most memorable, I don't know, favorite shots, but most memorable, when Mando reveals himself, but he doesn't reveal himself to the audience, and you just see him put his helmet down to the side of him as he eats a meal after that long night's battle. And I just want to say, super underrated episode. I know that's probably a lot of people's weakest episode, I guess you can say, out of the Brady Bunch, but I just want to give her props because I feel like no one will. But let's get into the numbers, because that's what really matters at the end of the day, right? The numbers. But real quick, I'm just going to ask, where do we think this is going to rank when we put all of our grades together? I'm going to say about a 9.5.
Overall grade?
Yeah, overall with all 4 of us combined, I'm gonna say around 9.5. What about you, Deebs?
I'm probably low 8, low 8. So I guess a 9.2.
9.2. What about you, Loretto?
I always thought we might have given it 10s across the board, but it's probably going to be a 9.
Okay,
probably.
AJ, I kind of know what you're gonna say already, but say it, man.
Honestly, don't know. I'm not gonna say it. I honestly don't know.
That's like a 20 out of 10 for me. But you know what? Let's get on with the actual show, guys. Let's get the numbers going. So let's start ranking this by, what did you guys think of the very first season storyline? I'm gonna go with Loretto on this one.
I love the mystery. And like Diabs elaborated before, that intro, the first 3 or 4 minutes where you see him walk into that snowy bar, that was probably one of the best introductions to a character like I've ever seen, and it perfectly captured who he was, like with every little detail. The way he walked up and that dude was like, "Oh, is that real Beskar steel?" And the Mando's just like standing there like, "Bro, you don't even know right now." And then he gets that glass, smashes across his face, and then he tells his mark, "I could take you in warm or I can take you in cold." Like, yo, like, are you kidding me? Like, that is such like a badass way to introduce this bounty hunter and establish his code, establish that he ain't one to be messed with. So, and then you go from there. We get the child. We meet Grief Karga. On the way, we pick up Cara Dune. We see his old gang, and I thought the way it developed was very natural. And I think overall, from top to beginning, from the way he hates droids in the beginning, and then learns to care for one at the very end. I thought his arc was very complete for a short episodic series. And ultimately, where we ended up, finding out his name, seeing Moff Gideon with the Darksaber, I thought it was the perfect ending for an inaugural season. The storyline for me was a 10. I thought it was told very well.
Wow, 10. Well, 10, goddamn. I'm going to go to Deebs with this one, man. What did you think of the very first season of Mandalorian?
All right, we're talking about the story. To its core, the story is like very intimate, which was like a super, super welcome shift from The Rise of Skywalker, which came out at the same time and essentially was like more of a roller coaster than about character development. And I think that's what this was. Like, story and character development is why The Mandalorian works so well. It's this personal story that's not as epic in scope and as big as its screen counterparts. But like, when you watch this show from 10 minutes from the jump, you touched on it, Loretto, you knew exactly what you were in for. You know, this was Star Wars. This is the Star Wars you grew up to. This was the Star Wars you know and love. And I think for the majority of the shows, like 8 episodes, I think it really thrived emphasizing that space Western formula. But for me, though, like I did pause on this. I actually, like, we talk about space Western, and you touched on it, Lo. Like, I think of John Wayne or like Bruce Willis or something when he like walks into that bar and is like so badass. But for me, I thought Skyrim, Mando and Baby Yoda get a mission. They get introduced to some amazing characters that help them along the way. They're successful in their mission, and Mando obtains some loot and gets, an upgrade in his armor. So I think story-wise, though, it all boils down to one thing, and we talked about it over and over and over again during our Suit Up pods, and you touched on it, Lo, is that, where would we be without Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni? It really boils down to, in Dave Filoni we trust. Dave Filoni was the executive producer of this show. He directed chapters 1 and 5. And I'm just so excited to see his babies, the Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels, like, whether it's Ahsoka and Sabine Wren, and where the Mandalorian moves forward into season 2 story-wise. We already know that Dave Filoni is going to be directing season 2 episodes in season 2. And you better believe that he's going to be directing that episode when Ahsoka gets her live screen debut. Story-wise, I'm not as high as Loretto is. I'm going to give it an 8.5. But in terms of world building, man, it's amazing. 8.5.
Nah, honestly, I can't say I disagree with any of you, and it's hard for me to say I agree with you all because we all kind of disagree with each other. There's not really too many bad things to say about this. All we can talk about is how it could have been tweaked a little bit, but that's how great the show is. When we have to talk about what little things they have to tweak, that just shows so much when so many other projects have so many big issues with the shows. But AJ, what did you think of the first season, man?
Yeah. Before that, I always wanted a space Western type thing. I'm a huge fan of Cowboy Bebop, which is probably top 5 anime movie television of all time. And when I heard the first time I heard that the Mandalorian was going to be like a space Western, I was like, sign me up for this. Other than that, story-wise, I think it was incredible. The weakest link for me was the episodes that were directed by Dave Filoni, because sometimes the pacing felt a little bit off. And to be fair on that, this is his first time actually directing live action, and going from animation and to live action is like a whole other process. It's so different from one another. So that was probably like my only weakness of that. But since Jon Favreau helped him a lot with his direction and all of that, I still thought his episodes were pretty cool. But yeah, Diane Jaren's character development throughout the series was phenomenal. Seeing him from a Lone Ranger to him wanting Baby Yoda. I just love that so much. Him not liking droids to him with IG-11, I thought was really, really well developed. I thought they were cool. The armor. Let's talk about the armor for a second. I feel like we need more of her. I just wish that we had more of the armor right now because she is a badass. Cara Dune fits perfectly well with that Jaren's character in The Mandalorian. Honestly, I hope we get a Cara Dune series.
I don't know how likely that is now.
I know it's not that likely, but I feel like that would be amazing.
Not unless she gets recast.
Yeah, that's never happening.
So sad. But anyway, I just felt like everybody within each of the episodes were cool. I forgot the Asian character's name.
The one played by Ming-Na Wen, yeah. She was only in like one episode, so it's hard.
We will get back to
her. Oh no, we'll get more,
Fennec,
but
right?
I'm like saying it's hard to remember her name.
I think it was Fennec.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
So there's a lot of basically what Lo said. I love the mystery aspect of it. Seeing a little bit of his past, Nigerian's past, I felt like was really cool. We didn't get that much into it, which is honestly, I think could be a good criticism for the show. But since we are getting season 2, hopefully they will dive more into his past. So with my grade, I'm gonna give it a 9, just because I think Dave Filoni's episodes were a little too. It was either a little too fast paced or a little too long for my taste. So
To defend,
yeah.
To defend that, I love the first episode, but the Gunslinger episode 5 is the other one he directed. That was the Mos Eisley Fennec episode. I thought that was definitely a little weak.
So we got a 10, an 8.5, and a 9. Now you guys are like, yo, what is Ryan going to choose? Oh, no. This is honestly, we've done this so often at this point. I feel like kind of nervous when I give my ranking. But you know what? I really like the first season. I agree with AJ. Some of the episodes, specifically the Dave Filoni episodes, were much slower than more of the other ones, even though there was only 8. So it's not really saying that much. But yeah. I felt like the series didn't tightly wrap up every single character for a second season arc as nicely as, let's say, The Mandalorian, The Baby, and even Cara Dune. Like, I feel like Grief Karga got a little mishandled with the season finale. I felt like they could have ended his story a little bit better to hint more at what he's going to do in the second season, because at the end of the first season, he's kind of just like, adios, muchacho. That's it. And honestly, like I said, a few pacing issues, some characters, I don't want to say get sidelined, but they don't get as much as I probably hoped they would have gotten in the story. And I get that the first season is mainly about the Mandalorian and the baby, but I felt like Grief Karga was almost just there to being a series regular, but they held him back a little bit because the show is about the Mandalorian and the baby. And I could have used a little bit more Cara Dune, but at the end of the day, that doesn't really affect my ranking too much. So to keep this nice, short, and simple, I'm going to go with an 8.7.
8.7. Right. Got it.
What's the next topic, Tibbs?
Memorable. Oh, sorry. Visuals.
Oh, dude, this is a good one. So the visuals, I think, won most of the... Which award show was it that just... Emmys? Yeah. I think they won the Emmy for visual effects. Did they not?
I don't think they did. I'll look it up.
So,
I don't think
look it up. But dude, the visuals are insane on this show. Even I know it's Disney, I know it's Lucasfilms, they got the ka-ching, but even for a TV show, I think the only thing that'll be close to rival this that's not even out yet is pretty much WandaVision, I think. And that's not even out yet. But dude, I've not seen a TV show look this fantastic.
Nope.
Almost at all at this point. And it's 2019 when it came out, made in 2018 pretty much. But dude, this fucking show is just gorgeous. And every time I think about the show, I think about the black lightsaber, dude. It looks so good. I can't wait to see what they do with it in the second season. But dude, all the landscape look fantastic. Hell, even though Baby Yoda was a doll, the effects they used to make him seem more realistic than a doll they were seamless. I'm sorry, but if you told me that was just an animatronic they made, I would have believed you. But this show is just so gorgeous, and the backdrop, mwah. And I think it's all with the way they filmed this, because they didn't film it like any ordinary TV show. I don't know what the system's called. I think AJ would know out of all of us. But the way it works is they have a 360 screen that they film backgrounds on, and then they just fill the ground with wherever their location is. And they're in like really HD type TV screens. And seeing that on television and having it seem so seamless and have it look like an actual background, like, dude, it looks way better than like a good portion than most superhero ending fights with their backgrounds and stuff like that. But you know what? I'm gonna shut up a little bit. I'm gonna go to AJ on this one. Oh wait, did I grade it? No, I didn't grade it. I'm gonna give it a 10. Shit, my bad.
All right, got 10.
AJ,
is it my turn now?
Yeah.
Okay, so they did win for visual effects.
Yes,
most visual effects.
I knew I saw that.
So that's that. let me get this out the way first. I'm just gonna get the negatives out.
Let it off your chest, bro. Let it flow.
The production, I think there's one flaw with the stagecraft staging on this is that the areas seem a little too one-dimensional. And what I mean by that is you see the Mandalorian walking through like one area, but once he turns a corner or another corner, it still all looks the same way. So with that, I just feel like there's no variety within like the overall setting. I wouldn't say that specifically for the visual effects itself, but like the overall setting of the each world, which I do like that we do get like different atmospheres within the Mandalorian, opposite from the Star Wars movies. But when we settle down in one world, it just feels a little like we've already seen this place multiple times. It's like the same. I can't explain it that well, but it just looks the same. But visually, I think the way that they use their technology is like a 10 out of 10. I think the way Jon Favreau planned the Mandalorian's visual effects, I think was incredible. And the behind the scenes, he actually talked about how The Lion King and Jungle Book were a huge influence in that. And I love how those two movies help bring forth the Mandalorian, because without those two movies, you can hate the Lion King all you want, but without the Lion King and the Jungle Book, we would not have gotten what we have gotten in the Mandalorian. So just give them that props at least. I know so many people hate the Lion King, but back to the Mandalorian. I think this is a perfect, like visually, I think it's perfect for a TV series. But if it was a movie, I think it would have been it wouldn't be that amazing. Personally, I would prefer Euphoria's visual effects over the Mandalorian, just a little bit. But I think that for me, I'm gonna score the Mandalorian visual effects 8.9 out of 10.
8.9 out of 10. Loretto, do you want to go next, or do you want me to go?
Yeah,
no,
sure. So,
you got this, Loretto. You got this. I believe in you, man.
Yeah, so this is an interesting thing to grade for me because, like, AJ, you actually explained it very well. Hold on one second. You explained it really well because on TV, it's like, wow, that's incredible. But then if we saw it on the big screen, it'd be like, that was nice, So there's a slight difference in that type of quality. But in terms of what they did with practical effects, especially in terms of Baby Yoda, in terms of the costume design, which is pretty cool. They used the fans. They needed extra stormtroopers. They used the 501st, which are a bunch of fans in their own stormtrooper gear. That was cool. And the fact that it was all practical in that sense. I did feel like what AJ was saying, it did get a little redundant with some of the desert space and the rocky like the base planet. It's dirt and rocks, and this is a planet, and that did get a little redundant. I feel like, especially in Star Wars, it's like, is there any other planets besides planets with deserts and rocks? So we've seen a lot of that already in 9 films and The Mandalorian, so that did get a little redundant. But at the same time, minus like maybe the CGI monster in the very first episode, I thought everything looked really crisp. Everything was shot really well. And like Ryan was saying, that the effects on Baby Yoda, you could swear you could pick that thing up and give it a hug, and he'll be like, oh, and he'll talk to you, and it looks so real. It's incredible. But all of the things I said before, including with how I really feel about how awesome it really does look, it brings it down to about a 9 for me.
Okay.
Damn, Lo, is this how you felt last round when you're the only one that graded it 10 and no one else did? Because it's not feeling too great right now. But you know what, Deebs? Come on. I'm feeling good with this one. Give me the numbers, man.
All right. So, I mean, you guys touched on everything. I think we saw in the trailer that they're going to be exploring some, watery worlds in season 2. So you're absolutely right. Absolutely right about season 1. Visuals, absolutely stellar. Like, from the jump, just bold, distinctly Western vibes were just a salute to like the Star Wars roots, guys. The visuals of the Mandalorian was like just a breath of fresh air. I think from what we saw in like the Rise of Skywalker that came out like I think like 3/4 into the season, but I think the visuals of the show really stood out as Mando started to kind of explore and that you saw the world expand. And just quick nod, you touched on that. I thought the production and the set design was absolutely terrific. But really, you know where this is going, Loretto. I thought the Mandalorian excels when it comes to atmosphere. It has this grit about it, and it was really hit home by the amazing score by my man, Ludwig Göransson. This guy did Creed. He did Creed 2. He did Black Panther. He did Venom. I thought the show's theme was like almost a character in itself. I was just really impressed by like there's not that much dialogue in this show at times, and a lot of that was just emphasized through the score. And I thought whether it was Pedro Pascal's performance or just the effectiveness of the visuals itself, like there was so much going on at all times, and I was just really impressed overall with how they combined the atmosphere, the visuals, and the score all in one, and it made Mando's presence felt. That he's not even saying words, but actions speak louder than words. And I thought that was just like my biggest takeaway. It just was just a culmination of all those things. I graded it a 9.5. I thought this was a movie quality, TV show. From the scenes where you see our guys like venturing, across the dunes and stuff. But I fully agree. I hope we, see some more, water worlds and more expansive worlds moving forward into season 2. So 9.5.
Okay, question for everyone.
So good.
Question for everyone: If the Game of Thrones was still out and was still on TV right now, would you give the visual effects to Game of Thrones or would you give it to the Mandalorian?
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones. Dude, I'm sorry, but dude, that some of the stuff they put on there, like specifically the dragons, look so damn realistic, dude.
See, for me, Game of Thrones is the most like movie looking television, and it's even more movie looking than most movies. So
yes, that's so true.
I thought there were some similarities between season 8 of Game of Thrones and Mandalorian season 1.
Yeah,
there is a little bit there where like I think we're going to touch on it later on. I probably shouldn't spoil it, but in my opinion, at least, like there were some filler episodes here that in an 8-episode season that can't happen, and that was one of the weak points that we're going to get into later on.
Is the next one score, right?
The next one is memorable moments.
Oh, dude, this is a good one. So memorable moments. Wow. You know what? I gotta think on this one. So I'm gonna screw AJ a little bit because he's looking like he doesn't know yet. So I'm gonna go to AJ for this one.
Okay. What was the planet? What was the planet where Digerin and Cara Dune were in when they were fighting the Walker? I forgot was it the AT-AT?
AT-AT, yeah. I don't remember what planet it was.
That moment where you see Cara Dune take control over everything because
Sorgan.
Yeah, there we go.
Sorgan.
Yes. I felt like that was probably one of the most badass episodes and moments because we get to see the people learn to protect their own, and we get to see Cara Dune just be a straight up badass. And you just see how strategic she is and how strategic the Mandalorian is. So I'm gonna go with that one. That's my favorite moment.
No, dude, that honestly, there's so many memorable moments in this one. But you know what? I'm gonna go with a really cool one. I believe it's from the first episode. I'm sure you guys will correct me like always. But it's when IG-11 was first introduced in the first episode, I'm pretty sure. And he was teaming up with Mando, and he kind of just took all the enemies out with, I can't even begin to explain with what he did with his arms going all over the place and shooting. And exactly. Oh, exactly what AJ just did. Just with more lasers and more death. I thought that was a perfect way to show us and tell the audience what type of show this is. Because it's not only a serious show, but it knows when to be lighthearted, even when it comes to killing a bunch of goons. But what about you, Deebs?
I have top 3. Chapter 3, my number 3 is Chapter 3, the League of Shadows style action scenes, where you see Mando with some like truly elite stealth kills. There was one where like he like had a grappling hook and then finished him off with a sword in the back.
Yeah.
He had that episode also had the whistling birds where it took out like 4 stormtroopers. Like that, this Chapter 3 was like the scene, the moment that like established Mando as like the John Wick of Star Wars verse. My number 2 is the Darksaber in the finale. It just raised so many questions moving forward. As a lover of Star Wars Rebels, of the Clone Wars, it just immediately signaled the introduction of whether a live action Sabine Wren, which we're definitely getting, a Bo-Katan. So that was like just an extremely yes moment. And then number 1, the reveal of Chapter 1, Baby Yoda, man, just 40 minutes. For 40 minutes, we see like this stoic, emotionless Mando character that's ruthless and has no empathy. In the last scene where you see in Chapter 1, you see Mando like reconnecting with his childhood, but then he also like is reaching towards Baby Yoda, and that was like such a heart-filled moment that really set the tone, the theme of fatherhood. And you touched on it, AJ, earlier about is what it means to be Mandalorian. That's what Star Wars does. When Star Wars thrives is when it touches these gray areas, like between Jedi and Sith. That the gray area, like whether like I really want to see kind of in season 2. This is a little tangent, but there's like the aggressive culture of the Mandalorian versus what Bo-Katan's sister like wanted the Mandalorian culture to be. Like there's an aggressive versus passivism type of thing. I would really want to touch on that. I don't know if that might be like more of a season 3 or season 4 concept. But when Star Wars touches on those gray areas, that's when it thrives, man. I love when we saw in the Clone Wars and we saw the people of like Coruscant like questioning, are the Jedi even good? Like the Jedi have never been for them. They're all fighting in the distance on the other side of the galaxy for God knows what. That's when I love to like hear about. So that's my little take. I don't even know did I give a score? I'm gonna give it. All right, memorable moments. I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. This was a show that absolutely crushed the big moments, the small moments, and I think what makes this show so effective was the small personal moments were just as memorable as the great action scenes. Like Baby Yoda fidgeting with the ball and the joystick and attention seeking with the buttons in the cockpit was just as epic as
eating the frog. Oh goodness, I love it.
So funny. AJ, what was your score for memorable moments?
I didn't do it. That was a 10 out of 10 as well.
Yeah, put me down for a 10. I didn't say mine either.
Awesome.
Loretto, give us your score.
So obviously, as we've all elaborated here, memorable moments is straight fire, okay? Straight fire. I had to do that one time for the one time. No, but I love that Dives brought up the fatherhood thing, because really when he looks at the child, he sees himself, because he himself was rescued by a Mandalorian. And when he looks at the child, he sees himself helpless and needing someone to rescue him. And I love that, especially seeing the beginning, how he's so badass, but then knowing that he does have a heart. I think the heart, like you were touching on, Dives, that's what really makes Star Wars characters thrive. And to hit my favorite moments really fast, shout out to the moment when the child used the Force to lift the Mudhorn.
Yeah,
I was like, yes, he's Force sensitive, because we weren't really sure. We were like, he's cute, he looks like Yoda, but is he like Yoda? And then in that moment, he proved he was. My next favorite moment, my second favorite probably in the whole series, was when the stormtroopers are descending upon the Mandalorian lair, and all we see is the armorer kneeling down.
Yeah.
And when the stormtroopers approached, they didn't know what was coming. The armorer took them out, and she did not have a blaster. She took them out with like an axe and like something else. She was just laying wait. That was incredible, and it just shows like, cause I was worried. I was like, damn, they're about to take out the armor. Another person bites the dust. No, she lives on, and I can't wait to see her again. And I already mentioned my favorite moment earlier, but when the Mandalorians came to Din Djarin's rescue, that was incredible. Just that was like, that topped it off for me, especially being a fan of Clone Wars, being a fan of Jango Fett going back to like the prequels, seeing all of them with their jetpacks and just laying waste to the bounty hunters. That was so cool. Seeing the entire Mandalorian clan in action. That was a memorable moment for me. And as a Star Wars fan, that's a 10, man. That's a 10. So
a 10. I got to get me one of those.
Wow. What's the next topic? Because
next topic is rewatchability.
Okay, so we gotta look at it two different ways. One from a story perspective, and two from how many episodes and how long they are. Because I feel like those are the two things that I look at the most when I think about rewatching a show. So I give the show this. It is 8 episodes, and they're mildly inconsistent with their times. One episode's like 45 minutes, and then there's like one episode that's 32 minutes. It doesn't make too much sense, but it's fine. But I feel like because of how short this show actually is, it just makes it a lot more rewatchable for some people, just because it doesn't take very long to get through with the one inconsistent times on the episodes. And honestly, it's a very fun show at the same time. So I think people can get through it quite easily, but I always think a rewatch is not as good as your first viewing. So I can never give a rewatch a 10 out of 10. So I'm going to give it the second best score, a 9.9.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, that's right, Lo. That's right, Lo. Come at me, bro.
Just give it the point.
Come at me. Come at me.
It rounds up to a 10.
No. It's a 9.9.
It rounds up to a 10.
Lo, use your Force sensitive hat to push it up to a 10. But you know what, Lo? We're all grading like this whole entire show, but you should talk next. I just believe you should talk next. Or
Right,
you can just like
let's read the comments first.
Yeah, let's go through some of the comments. He said, "Who do you think will Sasha Banks in? Is she for sure Sabine Wren?" I think that is an absolute lock. Any thoughts on you guys?
Wait,
like
has she been confirmed?
I don't think so.
I
feel
suck
like,
at guessing.
I feel
I'm
like
not
they're
even
throwing
gonna
us for a loop. I'm not saying this is real, this is not, but she looked very orange. And I know Rosario Dawson had some controversy.
No, it's not
Like,
Ahsoka.
Is she confirmed? Is she confirmed? Because there was controversy with her, and I'm just wondering, like, what if they're pulling a fast one on us?
Do you guys think that it's that chick in the hoodie from the trailer, or am I just too far behind from everyone?
Well, that's what the internet is saying.
That's what we're
but-
talking about.
Okay, because I haven't seen too much conversation about it. I've been like AFK off Twitter for like the past week. So that's who I think, without knowing that's what the internet's also thinking. So that's my personal opinion. What about you, Deebs?
I absolutely think it's Sabine. What about you, AJ?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
We also have Bob's Adventures, Vlogs, and more.
What's
Hi, guys.
going on, Bob?
What up?
What's going on? Thanks for joining, man. Hope you're enjoying the show as per usual.
Loretta, you're up, bro.
What was the topic again? Because I got so invested in
Rewatchability,
that.
right?
Rewatchability, yeah. So since I already gave all my rewatchability talk, I'm gonna give it I gave it a 9.9, and then Lo gave me crap about that. But Lo, since you're so phenomenal at your grades, why don't you just tell us how rewatchable this show is? I swear to God, if you say 9.8, I swear to God,
I
if you say
wasn't trying to
9.8,
rag on your opinion there, sir. But interestingly enough,
AJ
though,
definitely was.
Interestingly enough, you actually hit a really good point. Like, there's nothing that can compare. Like, for the first time I saw the Darksaber, I can never pick my jaw back off the floor because it already fell off, right? So,
Yeah.
the shock factor and the anticipation of like where this is going, what we're gonna see, and like the face reveal, like those things can never be undone. But that's just how most shows are. I think in terms of like the quality of action and the quality of character work, I think that's what makes it rewatchable. Wow. So our friend here says hello. And I would say in terms of rewatchability, I'll give it like a 8.5 because I'd rather watch certain moments versus watching the entire season again. Kind of like what AJ was saying with the gunslinger, like that part of the season did kind of sag a little bit. But in terms of the moments, I can rewatch those moments at all times, but I can always also look up those clips. But if I'm going to rewatch the entire season, unless I'm watching it in preparation for the next season, I feel no need to rewatch the entire season again, if that makes sense. So I'll give it like an 8.5.
8.5 out of 10. But you know what, AJ, I feel like you're gonna come back. I think you're gonna start agreeing with my 9.9 right here. But how rewatchable do you find this show, my friend?
It's a 10, 100% a 10.
Yeah.
Did y'all not just hear me say I watched this 4 times already?
No, I didn't. I definitely did not. I thought you were gonna say another 4 times, but wow. You just wanted to beat me by 0.1, didn't you, man?
I mean, you can always bring it up to point
No.
one.
That it's set in final. That's in stone. That's history now. You can't change history.
I'm not changing. You can change it.
But you know what? You know what? Deeps can change the future.
Hey, Geekly Goods brings up a fun question. I want to hear what you guys kind of think.
Would you rather see Sabine go up against Moff Gideon or Mando?
Moff Gideon, 100%. First of all, Moff Gideon has the Darksaber, which Sabine should have 100%. So
that is hers.
Also, Sabine should help Mando, I feel like. So that's that for me.
Right,
I think we all agree.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Sabine versus Moff Gideon would be everything. I definitely see it being Moff Gideon. What about you, Loretto?
You know what's interesting is, especially because I just not too long ago, I finished Rebels, and it was really interesting seeing how the different clans were really at war with each other. So it's kind of interesting to see who the armor is in league with and who is Din Djarin in league with, since he's in league with her. Like, what clan are we talking about? Is it the Vizsla clan? So that could be interesting, maybe to see them fight and then make up later. But absolutely, I want to see Sabine take down Moff Gideon. That is hers. The Darksaber belongs to her.
Oh my God, that Kanan Jarrus. If you haven't watched Star Wars Rebels, after the pod's over, go on YouTube. Go on YouTube and watch Kanan Jarrus training Sabine Wren with the Darksaber. One of the most emotional Star Wars moments of all time. Period.
Oh yeah.
All right, I'm gonna go. Well, my wife here has a really good question. How soon to the season do you think Sabine will be introduced? Do we know how many episodes are going to be in season 2?
I would imagine the same amount, and I would say halfway through. I would say Sabine will be halfway through the season 2.
I think that's pretty fair. I think I'm expecting Sabine to be like that stepping stone to that Ahsoka cameo. I think you're right on, AJ. I think it's going to be, they're going to save that to the end because that is the golden ticket. What about you, Ryan?
Don't quote me on this, but I could have sworn a while back I heard they added one more episode from season 1, so making that 9 episodes. I don't know how true that is. I haven't seen too much on it, but honestly, knowing how Lucasfilms and I'm pretty sure Jon Favreau wrote it, even looking through the first season, they're probably going to introduce her halfway through. It makes most sense, I guess, if you really think about it, because they're going to do the first half showing us what happened after the end of season 1 and then introduce us to the second half villain, I guess you can say, which is kind of hard at the same time when there's only 8 to 9 episodes. But yeah, I agree with AJ.
Loretto, any thoughts on that, dude?
Yeah, I'm trying to find. I could have sworn they announced how many episodes it would be, but I think it makes sense. Yeah, man. I think maybe about halfway, and then we'll probably at the very, 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 very end, we'll probably see Ahsoka. Yeah, so I would say about the halfway point.
So right now on IMDb, it shows 8 episodes.
Okay.
Damn, only?
That's
I want more.
Amen.
So right now, yeah.
We have Gabe joining. He says, "What's up, guys? Nice hats, Loretto and Dives." There it is. Show us the Infinity Gauntlet, Loretto.
The comic version.
I love it.
Right. I'm like, that shit don't look like the movie version.
But all right, where were we? Rewatchability.
Ryan would point that out.
I think it's your turn, Deebs. Yeah.
Rewatchability. I'm with Lo. Like, this is a series as great as this season was, season 1. This is all about moments rather than watching the entire season. The last 2 episodes, though, truly unforgettable. That finale, directed by Taika Waititi, is just peak Star Wars, right up there with the last 4 episodes of the Clone Wars. That last 4 episodes and the season, The Mandalorian, the last 2 episodes, just peak Star Wars content. But as much as I really enjoyed this show, I fully recognize that it was slow moving, and it was very slow moving at times. It's not exactly for everyone. So like I feel like this show was specifically designed and made for diehard Star Wars fans, especially of the original series.
Yeah.
For younger fans, for the prequel fans, it's not action packed. This is not mind numbing like the latest Star Wars sequels. So some episodes aren't really fully fleshed out. They're more filler episodes. So this is like that we talked about Game of Thrones season 8 territory, where we're talking about an 8-episode season. That some episodes, like you said, Ryan, are like 40 minutes. Some are 24. You could easily skip some episodes in this season and feel
Which you shouldn't.
You shouldn't. I fully agree with AJ.
At 8 episodes, it makes no sense.
It's be real. Like you could probably skip some episodes and you didn't really miss much. Like the Gunslinger. So I will give this a 7. I'm a little lower than you guys. I got to be real. I'm giving it a 7.
You guys actually convinced me. Keeping my score down to a 9 because I feel like 9.99 was a little generous. Now thinking about it.
No, man.
Real quick. Can I just jump in hella fast? But like, no. I liked that Dives brought up how fantastic the last episode was, because that was really a great finale. But I also just want to say, I don't know if it was Waititi's idea or if it was Filoni's idea, and maybe they fleshed it out together. But I just loved the way they set that up. Like seeing the armor give Din Djarin his jetpack. And then seeing at the very, very end, Moff Gideon come over in a TIE fighter, I knew exactly what was about to happen. I was like, yes! And then you see him take off in the jetpack to take down the TIE fighter. That is Star Wars cinema, people. Like, that is what we came to see. Like, I was all for it. And then, of course, the Darksaber after. But that was awesome. That finale was one of my favorite moments in TV history. Like, it was brilliant.
I put a poll on Twitter saying, did you train in the trials of the Rising Phoenix? And they got like 5 votes. No one knew what that was referring to. But that's how
I was one of the 5.
Hey, were you?
I didn't know it was a poll. Hold on.
I didn't even know there was a poll.
The armor.
So that's how, that's where they train to get their jetpack. And that's when Armor gives Mando Din Djarin his jetpack. So little fun fact there.
Hey, Gabe asking a pretty good question.
Go to
here.
Gabe. Yeah, I was about to say that.
Would you rather? Go ahead, Ryan.
Would you rather have season 2 be episodic with somewhat standalone stories that come together in the end, like season 1, or have a clear overarching storyline?
Great question.
Personally, it's just preference. I would much rather have an overarching storyline that's very clear. I just think it's smoother pacing that way for me. But I want to know what you guys think. What do you think? AJ, I feel like AJ's got a big opinion on this one, especially with his whole pacing issue with the first season. Wow.
Okay, so I had to think on that one for a little bit.
We see
that. So with this, I think for me personally, it would be cool if it was a mix between the two.
Yeah.
So with episodic, that means each episode will have its own story, ending, beginning, and middle, which is good. And then overarching storylines. I think with me, I think each episode should have a beginning, middle, end. But overall, it all mixes well together so that the overall arching beginning story and the overall arching ending molds well with like the many beginning, middle, and end. So for me, I think it'll be best if to mold the two as the episodic and overarching story. I feel like.
Yeah.
Well, Deeb, since you, I guess, kind of agree with him, give us your thoughts, man.
I mean, I go straight to the 8-episode season. So if we're talking like the Clone Wars, where there was like 24 episodes, or like Avatar, where you have all these episodes, some filler episodes would be great. In an 8-episode season, I want one overarching storyline. However, I fully recognize how impactful and powerful a buddy, Mando and Baby Yoda on an adventure in a new world, meeting new characters and all that stuff could be, where it's a standalone episode and they're like meeting some Jedi Wookiees, and that would be absolutely a blast. So I see the potential on both ends, but in an 8-episode season. I don't want those filler episodes like I saw in season 1. I want to explore some things that I don't know if we're going to be talking about season 2 later on, but that's my opinion.
Wow. Loretto, you seem like you're in some really deep thoughts, man. Some philosophical debates are going in that mind right now. Why don't you just open up your brain a little bit? Let us in. How do you feel?
So I would say best case scenario, maybe we'll get like 3 to start, 2 filler in the middle, and 3 to end it. I think that Dave Filoni excels at filler. Going back to Avatar: The Last Airbender, and even like that very, very first introductory episode, like he's good at giving us filler that's meaningful and exciting. And even going to like Clone Wars, like some of Clone Wars filler, like maybe it didn't matter in the overarching story, but some of the filler episodes in Clone Wars were wonderful and like one-off episodes that I loved, and it had a theme or it had like something quirky about it, or like he did a 7 Samurai episode that Bryce Dallas Howard did in The Mandalorian, where you train the fighters to fight an evil force, or you train villagers to fight an evil force. That's 7 Samurai right there. And we saw it twice. We saw it in Clone Wars and we saw it in The Mandalorian. So those kind of one-off stories are wonderful. And I think if they're done properly, I wouldn't mind 1 or 2, but I would like some connectivity, at least in the first 3 or 4, and maybe to finish it off with a finale. So, who knows what's going to be, but that'd be nice to get both.
See, sometimes with filler, it could be a really bad thing and a really good thing, because if it's filler, it can actually help build up the overall story. Like with nobody watches anime, but
the Martez sisters.
What was that?
In the Clone Wars, the first arc was the Martez sisters.
Oh, yeah.
That was so filler.
So filler.
I loved all of it though. So
I liked it too. I liked it.
Of course.
Yeah, so with One Piece, there's a lot of filler in One Piece, but when you actually watch it, and then if you continue to watch it, those fillers actually help you gain more love and respect for the characters for the long run. So with like The Mandalorian, I'm fine with having fillers as long as it still helps develop the characters in a way that the audience have a deep affection for those characters. So I'm perfectly fine with filler.
But see, that's kind of what I mean. Like you go back to like the Warriors of Kyoshi, like when you watch the whole thing, you're like, was that episode really necessary? But you see them later in season 3, or like the Earth Kingdom, when you meet what's his name? I'm blanking.
The King
Boomy?
King Boomy? Yeah.
When you meet Boomy, like you're like, is this episode really necessary? But it all makes sense in like the overarching theme of Avatar, and it helped develop Aang. So I think you're right. Like good filler still relates to the story, but can stand by itself.
But
probably the best moment of 2020 was Loretto telling me to watch Avatar, and just binging that season was the greatest moment of 2020.
I'm so glad Netflix brought it back. I was just like, yes.
It's so good.
Are we ready to go on to the final one, ladies?
Yeah. So this is overall grade. How would you grade season 1?
You know what? I'll go last on this one. So I'm going to hand it off to you, Deebs.
Yeah. All right. So overall grade, I think The Mandalorian's the best thing Disney Plus has produced, by far. Between its amazing side characters, like the loads of Baby Yoda moments, that Western, the space Western themes, those Western RPG themes. I love RPG. I'm a huge RPG fan. All those nods. I loved season 1. I really enjoyed how it crossed genres. At one point it's this like sweeping adventure story, and then we're watching this dark and gritty space Western, and then boom, we're like watching, there's some comedy with like some really, light and heartfelt moments between Mando and Baby Yoda and a couple of the side characters, Quill and IG-11, like that. I love how I was able to balance a lot of that, the emotion and, the almost noirish like vibes a little bit. But I think what made season 1 of The Mandalorian so successful was world building. Season 1 threw us like into this like universe that was not only like familiar, but it left you wanting more and more and more. Season 1 of The Mandalorian was so memorable because the fact that the show's soft points were just as effective as the highs. So that's just great directing. That's the creativity of Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni. They deserve all the credit. I cannot wait for season 2. This is just a show where you can tell that there's so much love put into this thing, and it all starts from its creators who truly understand the source material. Give me Ahsoka. Give me Ahsoka. I like words cannot express how excited I'm. Like still devastated. I went on an online search to find an Ahsoka Tano costume for my daughter for Halloween trick or treating. I couldn't find it. The only ones I could find were like $200, and it was for teenagers. I'm just super disappointed. I give this a 9 out of 10.
Well, damn, that was pretty spicy. Lo, what would you grade this entire season?
So, just being a fan of Clone Wars and Rebels, I was already bought in. Pulled up that comment hella fast. Gabe makes a good point. He makes a good point, but it doesn't deter me from my score. I agree that Solo felt a little excessive. I can't even talk about Rise of Skywalker, if I'm being honest. I can't even talk about Rise of Skywalker. But the fact that The Mandalorian was as good as I had hoped it to be, I think says a lot. I think what I'm really invested in is the emotions of it. And for me to almost really, really get emotionally attached to this short little mechanic who doesn't say much, but he says it with a purpose. And when he speaks, he speaks. And to this skinny little robot that almost doesn't say much at all, and also to an extent, seeing those damn stormtroopers punch Baby Yoda, I was ready to kill somebody. I was like, yo, they just punched the child. What is happening? I was very emotionally invested from beginning to end. And I think that in itself is an accomplishment. And I gave the story a 10. I just felt like as a fan, I like Dob was saying, this was a show for fans. And as a fan, I was all aboard, all in every second of this show. And for that alone, I have to give it a 10. Personally, I was floored. I enjoyed it. Every week I was waiting with giddy anticipation for the next episode. I was like a child waiting for Saturday morning cartoons. Same thing with Clone Wars, Dives, when we were doing the Clone Wars reviews. It gave me something to look forward to. And it really did lift my spirits in a dark period of our time when there was not much to look forward to. But I at least could look forward to seeing The Mandalorian every week. So personally, I have to give the show a 10.
Well, damn, we got a 9, a 10. AJ, you're up next, man. You're up next.
All right, so with The Mandalorian, I gave it some points off because it felt slow at some points and too fast at some points. But overall, other than that, I think the thing that Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, all of the directors within The Mandalorian did great in is the world building Deb said before, and I 100% agree with that. But not only that, but the character interactions from IG-11, Cara Dune, Baby Yoda. Good Lord, I almost forgot. Baby Yoda, just everyone interacting with each other. I felt like it was well thought out. The overall season 1 of Mandalorian was well planned. So that's the one thing I love. And Lo, I'm in a disagreement with you. I actually love Rise of Skywalker. I love all of the Star Wars movies, basically. But the one issue they did have, and it's a huge issue, is the planning. Not Kevin Feige. Good Lord. Kathleen
Kennedy?
Kathleen Kennedy. Thank you. Goodness.
John F. Kennedy. Thank you very much.
Might as well be. I just feel like the way that they plan the story, just leaving directors leaving and coming back, and it's so random and just overall, it's just a mess. Financially, she's doing amazing. I'll give her that.
I wonder why.
So I think she should stay on, but I think Jon Favreau I think Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni should focus on the creative side of Star Wars. They've already proven that whatever they do, whatever they plan, fans love it. From Clone Wars, Rebels, The Mandalorian, everything. They have proven creatively they are reliable. They are just the two main people that know Star Wars like like their own lives. Basically, they just know Star Wars. And the way that we're getting Star Wars now with films, I feel like there's a huge issue with the mythology. I think that we get hints of it in the movies, but I don't think we could get it like we can, like we do in Clone Wars, Rebels, and all of that. I think we can get the mythology much better, get the philosophy between a Jedi and the Sith, get the philosophy of the Mandalorian within the films. Hopefully, I'm getting on a tangent right now.
I know
my score for this is a 10 out of 10, but back to my tangent. I hope that Kathleen Kennedy gives those two the creative freedom. Yeah, creative freedom that they need. And hopefully they'll do what DC is doing right now. I'm hype about DC because Walter Amada said that they will have one area where they'll have like a overarching story, and then there will be solo films that will be built creatively. So hopefully we'll be able to get that. That way we'll have one side that fits a specific story overall, within like movies on movies, and then there's one side where we get solo films that will focus on a specific thing or person or even trilogy if they want to. So everybody will be happy, and I feel like that's probably one of the best solutions out there. That's my tangent for the night. There we go.
The biggest thing I took from that is we need a Darth Revan trilogy, because that would answer everything that AJ just said.
But also in Filoni and Favreau, we trust. They got it.
There we go.
They got it.
Amen.
Let them run with it.
Amen.
Honestly, I'm just gonna call this the Favreau effect. He's done it with Marvel, and I feel like he's doing it with Star Wars. He takes a franchise that has fallen off, that's sort of broken. Star Wars was falling off and broken, I would consider, especially after the divide from The Last Jedi. And he comes in, he tells the studio, you know what, I'm doing my own thing. Let me do my own thing. It's not going to be major budget. It's going to be small and simple. And dude, it blows up. And I feel like for Star Wars fans like us, I feel like we can just start expecting better and better things from now on. I feel like for a lot of people, The Rise of Skywalker was the lowest of the low that the trilogy has gone to. Even nope, I can fight that all day, but not today. But yeah, I feel like a lot of people, I'm not saying you, AJ, I'm not saying any of us, but I know a good amount of people would say The Rise of the Skywalker was the low of the low with so many problems to them. AJ, don't even try to defend it right now because you're gonna make the show 5 hours.
I'm not blind to the faults of Star Wars, but to say that it's The Rise of Skywalker is worse than Revenge of the Sith, worse than Phantom Menace, worse than Attack of the Clones.
No.
I think we just got our next pod.
Bro, we just okay. This is the first episode, and I'm already kicking AJ out.
I'm about to punch you with
It's done. I mean,
no.
Hey, we can do verses. We can do verses.
We could do verses. But honestly, I feel like
Rise of Skywalker.
I'm Team Low.
Hey, I'll be by myself. I'll be good with that.
You always doing it. You do you, boo. Shit. But I feel like Favreau has just added a rejuvenation in the Star Wars franchise for many fans, whether that is you or not, AJ. I feel like he's bringing a lot of OG fans, like people that fell off with the prequel series because of how poorly received they were. He's bringing them back with that old-timey episode 4 through 6 feeling, which honestly, nostalgia at its finest. The show takes everything that people loved from the original trilogy and adds a new spin on today's technical advancements. And we are much better writers than I would say some of us were way back when. I mean, 12 Angry Men is still fucking class ass cinema. And oh my God, Gabriel, get out of here. No. Bro, this is going to be our next Versus series after World War Z.
Well, it sounds like Gabe's coming on, so we got to bring him on to support AJ because
we can't let AJ go.
AJ needs all the hate.
I don't mind. I do not mind. I'll destroy all of you guys.
It's gonna be like all of us versus AJ.
Dude,
Bring it on.
Terribly pronounce that guy's name.
All right, overall grade from Ryan.
9.5. Give me that score.
9.5. I need like a couple minutes. Talk amongst yourselves.
So
okay, what would you guys want as a solo Star Wars movie? What would y'all want to focus on?
Wait, anything or like
anything? It doesn't matter. It can be
Anything?
It can be a new idea. It can be from Knights of the Old Republic. It can just be anything.
This is thinking a little ahead of the Fox here, but honestly, depending on when they introduce Ahsoka and how they introduce her and how long she's in the show and how much they give her character depth, I feel like down the road, if she's going to be a staple character moving forward after this season, I would want to see an Ahsoka movie, without a doubt, solo film.
I mean, you stole it right from my mouth, Ryan. Where I want to see this, I want to see a Darth Revan trilogy. I think what makes Darth Revan so fascinating is his ability to get both the Jedi and the Sith powers. He's gone from Sith to dark. I mean, from dark to like he's gone both sides, and he's like had his memory erased. That would be an absolutely fascinating story, and culminates with him having both powers. Imagine him like having the ability to heal while also shoot lightning. I think Darth Revan, that's what the fans want. I think a Darth Revan trilogy, it might even be more than a trilogy. It could be something where he's like involved in other side projects moving forward. But the Darth Revan thing is, I think I've been beating my chest on that for so long. But you touched on it, Ryan. Number one by far is Ahsoka Tano. Her chasing Darth Maul around, over the next wherever that goes. Ahsoka's my queen, so hands down.
All right, Loretto, what about you?
So
chasing them.
I already know, like,
you already know.
Creators had something going on.
You already know.
Ryan Johnson has something cooking. I'm excited to see new characters, fresh storylines, and personally, I wouldn't mind seeing someone just like a regular old someone in the Old Republic, High Republic, and maybe this is our new protagonist that it's just a normal person, right? But maybe this normal person runs into his friend grows up to be a Jedi, and his other friend grows up to like hang out with a bunch of guys like stealing stuff, almost like kind of like Solo did, like ragtag, like pirates type stuff. And then, maybe this person becomes a bounty hunter or something. I would just love to see just different characters take on a whole different side of Star Wars that we haven't seen. That's what I would like to see. And I think, I forgot what setting Ryan Johnson's story is going to be in, but I know there is something with the Old Republic in works, and I'm looking forward to that. I think that's probably like the thing I'm looking forward to.
I think it's the High Republic.
High Republic?
I thought it was the Old Republic.
I thought.
I think a lot of people were speculating the Old Republic because
maybe that's what it was.
I think everyone wanted Old Republic, but it's actually going to be High Republic, and that's why we're kind of thinking about doing a chapter episode podcast on the light of the Jedi. There's a High Republic novel coming out in January.
Apparently, Phil Unitas wants to burn Star Wars with fire.
What?
Look at his comment.
Which one?
His very last one.
No more Star Wars movies. Get out of here.
What?
The Church of Star Wars.
He wants to burn it with fire.
Are they done adding up yet?
Are they what?
Do we have the final score?
Yeah, I'm going to share my screen.
Oh, okay, cool. Fake drum roll. Sorry.
Beautiful.
All right, 93.5%.
What did I say? I thought it. I already forgot what I said. I thought it was going to be.
All right, I gave it an 88%. I gave it AJ gave it a 95%. Ryan gave it a 96%. Loretto gave it a 95%. I am shocked that I had the lowest grade out of all of us here.
You should be.
I'm shocked Rye has the highest score, considering I felt like he was about to like rag on this thing. Like,
Hell no, bro. I love this show. I thought it was fucking amazing.
no, you gave off the vibe in the beginning that you had some hot takes, you know?
Oh no, dude. I got no hot takes no more. Those hot takes are cold.
Dude, you had the highest score.
As I should.
That's
As I should.
crazy.
Yeah.
Even with
Season
your
two-
stupid 9.9.
Bro, season 2 is only gonna go up with 9.99. The fuck?
All right. Quick before we wrap it up, like where do you want to see season 2 go plot wise? Who wants to go first?
Honestly, I don't want to. I'm gonna try something with this season. I don't even want to guess what I want. I'm just gonna experience it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I don't want to go in with any expectations. I want to go for the ride. That's my answer.
Anyone
You
else?
know he's a noob at being a Star Wars fan. We ain't gonna speculate.
Real quick, I don't have a hot take or anything, but I just feel like the way that season 7 of Clone Wars went, where we were waiting and waiting, we were like, where's Anakin? Where's Obi-Wan? Didn't we have Darth Maul in the trailer? I feel like that's going to happen with Ahsoka, unfortunately. As much as I want all the Ahsoka I can have, we probably won't even see her until the finale, and it's going to be for like 3 minutes. But I would like more Ahsoka, but it's probably not the way that's going to go. But if we do get Sabine, I want a lot of her. I want to see where she's at right now. I want to dig into her story a little bit because some people hate her, some people love her. I like Sabine, so I'm excited to see more of her. And honestly, was that you, AJ, that you wanted more of Grief Karga? He was Carl Weathers.
No, me. That was me.
That was you? Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I agree, man. Grief Karga is awesome, man. Apollo Creed, baby.
Dude, hell
more
yeah.
Carl
Carl
Weathers.
Weathers, bro. He was great. I can't wait to see more.
No, I mean, like, yeah, he needs more screen time for sure. He's a legend.
Did we all go? I don't remember.
No,
if
AJ,
talked.
wanna go?
Okay, damn.
Oh, yeah. So I already talked about this a little bit. But I actually want to see Dajaren go away from the Mandalorian a little bit. I just want to see him have a little, what's the word? Oh my God. I can't think of the word. Anyway, I just hope that he does move away. And I think we're going to see more of Baby Yoda, Yoda's species a little bit more because he is
More
trying to find. Huh?
More independent?
No, his origin.
No. Well, yeah, his origin, but that's not the word I was thinking about.
Oh, no, I was
Conflict.
trying-
There we go. I
Sorry.
want to see a little bit more conflict within Dajaren's character because we didn't really get that much within season 1. With his origin, combined with his origin, I hope that we get more of that.
Adorbs.
Adore.
With the
Yeah,
Z.
from, our
With the
special
Z.
guest over there.
Oh, okay.
Adorbs with the Z. Not an S.
But yeah, hopefully we'll get oh my God, not Ezra. Ahsoka. Goodness, I'm
That's
Frank-
sad.
If you had Ezra, I would flip the shit out.
Well, I would have laughed actually. I would
if
have
we
laughed.
get Ahsoka and if she becomes really popular, I hope that we do either get a movie or two or two get a TV series on Disney Plus for Ahsoka. Because we're getting not Solo. We're getting an Obi-Wan Kenobi series, just one season, which is fine.
Barely a series, but okay, I'll fight that any day of the week.
I mean, what would you have
Bro.
in the Obi-Wan series?
Bro, it's
to have,
3
like, 3
episodes.
seasons?
Bro,
What?
it's 3 episodes.
Yeah,
Four.
it's not
No,
that
it's 3.
it's not that long between what's
4?
going to happen.
Whatever. I'm not
Yeah,
trying to fight.
that's a lot. I think that's a lot for an Obi-Wan series because it's not that much time between what was it? Empire Strikes Back and
Revenge of the Sith.
Revenge of the Sith and New Hope, right? New Hope.
Yeah, New Hope.
So 4 episodes of season 1. I'm completely fine with that with the Obi-Wan series. It's not that much you can do since we already seen a lot between those timeline within the comics. A lot of people don't read the comics, but you should. So there's that.
All right, guys. I think we're ready to wrap this up. We're going.
I didn't go yet. I didn't go yet.
Yeah, you did. Didn't you go?
No.
Or am I crazy? Oh shit!
No,
my
no.
bad. Okay,
I
I
didn't
thought
go
you
yet.
went. That was my bad. Go.
Here's my gut feeling. Season 1's about self-discovery for Mando, trying to find his purpose, trying to find his identity. We see all the flashbacks. I think Sabine Wren is the connector to. We talked about fatherhood. AJ, you touched on this significantly during the podcast. I think we're going to see Sabine Wren and we're going to see a Bo-Katan reference at some point. And that's going to bring eventually Mando, our character, to Mandalore. And whether or not they accept him or not, I think that's going to be the catalyst that sends Mando away from the Mandalorian people. He's going to pick against it. And him and Baby Yoda are going to go on not just his journey of self-discovery, but Baby Yoda's self-discovery, because that is the other main plot of this season. We already saw it hinted at during the trailer for season 2, is that, Mando's mission is not about being Mandalorian anymore. It's about, finding Baby Yoda's spot. And that is his mission, is taking him home and making sure he's safe. And that's how I expect things to play out. Maybe not season 2, but maybe like season 2 and into season 3. But I think that's the progression that we're going to see. We're going to see Mando be conflicted and confronted with what it means to be Mandalorian. And that could be the filler episode where he's like dealing with issues of what it means to be a father versus him and Baby Yoda, and maybe some experiences, characters, Mandalorians that he meets on Mandalore. I think that is what we're going to see. So we're going to see a lot of Mandalore. We're going to see also really the meat and potatoes of season 2, which is Baby Yoda and the origins of that species. And that will be the biggest talking point out of everybody in the Star Wars verse. Find it, because no one knows anything about Yoda. And I think that will be extremely exciting.
No, I can agree more. Did I miss anybody, by the way, that I didn't know about before I try to wrap it up this time?
No.
Just double checking. Is Freddie in the back over there? Did he go? No, I'm sorry. That's not a funny joke. I try to be funny. That was way too much. Anyway, guys, this was a great and fantastical first episode. Clocking in at about an hour and a half, which is nice and chunky for you guys that listen to this on your nice little car ride to work. Be like, oh, man, all these guys in these cute hats and all these sexy voices. Man, they're talking about Mandalorian. Great. But yeah, thank you guys so much for coming out to our very first episode of the collab pod, the Suit Up Geek Podcast. Bro, this has been planned for a while, and Mandalorian season 1 review is obviously somewhere we had to go with the second season coming out in just about a month. I want to say a personal thank you guys for coming out. Anyone else got anything else to say before we close?
I made a top 10 moments of season 1 of The Mandalorian. It'll be showing up on Movies Matrix some point within the next few days. Check that out.
Well, you guys are very exciting, but thank you guys so much for coming out. I think I can speak for all of us and say that we're just appreciative for all the support through the coming weeks. And you know what? I try to be sentimental, but I'm not very sentimental. But thank you guys. Don't forget to smack the like, comment, and subscribe. You can't even fucking smack the comment button, but comment anyway. Awesome. Thank you guys. Love you so much. Peace.